exclusive. We was talking about that, you know what I'm saying, earlier. But this is before, we're coming together before all hell breaks loose. This may be the last Feast of Tabernacles, man. Right? It may not be another one after this.
Yeah.
So it says, before the decree bring forth, go ahead.
Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the shaft.
Go ahead.
Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you.
Right?
Before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you.
Before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. You see that? So let's go to Leviticus chapter 23, and let's start at that verse for Tabernacles real quick, right? Verse 34, right? And let's just read real quick, get these verses on this high holy day we're in real quick. All right, so we're going to touch on the physical, Lord willing, we're going to touch on the physical meaning of, you know, the Feast of Tabernacles, right? How we keep it, how we're going to keep it, you know, in this age right now, and then we're going to touch on real quick about the spiritual meaning behind the Feast of Tabernacles, and then we'll end it off with that, Lord willing. Right? So let's read this Leviticus chapter 23 and verse number 34.
Con, it's the book of Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 34.
Right?
Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, the 15th day of the 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles for 7 days unto the Lord.
Right, so we're in the 7th month according to the Hebrew calendar. Now, the first day of the 7th month was, you know what I'm saying, the high new moon. You understand? It was the memorial blowing the trumpets. So now we're 2 weeks after that. So the 15th day, right? So the 15th day of the 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles for 7 days unto the Lord. So it's the 7 days in which we dwell in booths.
Right.
But it's really what? It's really
an 8-day feast.
It's really an 8-day feast. Because let's keep reading on. Right?
Verse 35. On the first day shall be in holy convocation.
So this is the first day right now. Thursday, sundown. Right? Thursday, sundown, and Friday, sundown. This is the first day. That's why we're gathered together at the Brother Rob Judah's house. You understand? Trying to, you know, have a ceremony. You understand? Because the Lord said the first day is going to be a holy convocation. Convocation meaning that we have to gather. Go ahead.
Ye shall do no servile work therein.
Come.
7 days ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord.
Right.
On the 8th day shall be in holy convocation unto you.
Right.
And ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord.
Go ahead.
It is a solemn assembly. And ye shall do no servile work therein.
Right. So on the first and on the 8th day, the first and the last day, we have to have a holy convocation through the Spirit. So those are the main 2 days that we have to, you know, we want to gather and have the ceremony through the Spirit. Right? The opening and the closing of the feast. Go ahead.
These are the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations.
Right.
To offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, a burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice and drink offerings, everything upon this day.
Right.
Beside the Sabbaths of the Lord, and beside your gifts, and beside all your vows, and beside all your free will offerings, which ye give unto the Lord.
Go ahead.
Also in the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days.
Right.
On this first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath.
You see that? So you see how the Lord, sometimes he's redundant, or it may seem like he's redundant, right? Because he has to drill it in our heads. He has to make it plain upon table so there's no question about, okay, is the first day of Sabbath? The 8th day of Sabbath? Because you know Israel's hard-headed. So the Lord has to drill it in our minds. He has to say it twice. He has to say it 3 times, right? But it says, first day is going to be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day is going to be a Sabbath. Go ahead.
It's lucky. And on the 8th day is Sabbath.
Go.
And ye shall take you on the first day the buffs of goodly trees,
right,
branches of palm trees, and the buffs of thick trees, and willows of the brook. And ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God 7 days.
Right, so we're really supposed to be having the boughs of it says what? Goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees, and the willows of the brook. So we're actually supposed to be taking of these certain trees and making tents out of it. You know, but I mean, hey, the tent that we got at Walmart, or the tent that we have, you know what I'm saying, we may have got online or something like that from Amazon. It's not really, you know, according to what Leviticus chapter 23 says. But we're rehearsing the righteous acts. Right? Let's stay here. We're going to finish that out, but let's stay here. Let's go to Judges 5 and verse 11. We're just trying. We're rehearsing the righteous acts. We're trying to do our best in this society right now, in this world right now, right? With what we have. If we can get a tent at Walmart, get a tent online, and you want to dwell in that for 7 days, hey, guess what? We're doing our best, right? The Lord, hey, let's get this real quick.
It's the book of Judges, chapter 5 and verse 11.
Uh-huh.
They that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the places of drawing water.
In the places of drawing water, in the places of captivity. You're drawing water. We're doing physical labor in this country right now, right? We have to, slave every day just to make it by, right? It says in the place of drawing water. Go ahead.
There shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord.
Then they're gonna do it perfectly.
There shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord.
So when you're rehearsing something, you're practicing for it, right? It's not the real deal yet. So the Lord said we're rehearsing the righteous acts of the Lord in the place of drawing water. Go ahead.
Come. The righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of his villages in Israel.
Right.
Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates.
Yeah, go down to the gates. The Lord said in the book of Psalms to open up the gates of Jerusalem, that the righteous may dwell therein, that the righteous may come forth. So when we rehearse these righteous acts, we're trying to show the Lord that we care about these laws, right? That we care about what's written in here. Okay, we're not going to be able to keep it perfectly yet until we get to the kingdom. But let's finish that out in Leviticus chapter 23, right? What was that? Verse 41. Yeah, 41.
It's the book of Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 41.
Right.
And ye shall keep it a feast unto the Lord 7 days in the year.
Mm-hmm.
It shall be a statute forever in your generations.
No, only for that time.
It shall be a statute forever in your generations.
No, I mean, that was only when you're in your own land, though.
It shall be a statute for you, Salaki, for your generations.
Yes, you good. It says, a statute forever in your generations. Meaning that you have to keep it forever. So no matter if you're in America, Babylon, 2023 AD, 1023 1855, we're still required to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, to rehearse these righteous acts. It says a statute forever in your generations. Go ahead.
Ye shall celebrate it in the 7th month.
Go ahead.
Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days.
Right, and that's where we have the tents. Because another word for booth is a tent. Because remember, back in during the time of Moses, and it's actually going to say it too. Actually, I'll say it when we read that precept, right? I don't want to jump the gun. Go ahead.
Come. Salaki. Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days.
Right.
All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths.
Right.
That your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths.
So that's the reason. When we came out of Egypt and we were in the wilderness for 40 years, we weren't dwelling in, 5 or 2-story houses.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With a 12-car garage, right? We weren't dwelling in that in the wilderness, right? And, luxury. Yeah. Had the backyard. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were in booths. Because again, we were in camp. So when you're in camp, that's a stationary place. So we would stay somewhere in a certain part of the wilderness, and then when the cloud over us would move, then we would move with it. When you read the narrative in Exodus. So we were moving, we would stop for a minute, then we would move again. So that's why we had tents. We didn't have permanent houses in the wilderness. So that's why the Lord, he's making this a high holy day so that we have that memorial for us to forever remember our days that we dwelt in the wilderness with Moses. Right? And that's why I was, Brother Shalomon said, hey, you wanted to get a cushion in the tent. I was like, hey, they didn't have that in the ancient world. But I was playing.
Blow up mattress.
Yeah, God. You see that?
That's true.
Yeah,
I was like, they didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? But if brothers want to do that, that's fine. But, I was just playing with them. But I was just saying, like, hey, we were literally in the wilderness, in the tent, you understand? We didn't necessarily have mattresses, right? But, our people are clever, so who knows what we had?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Who knows what we had?
I mean, haystacks for the
You know what I'm saying? Who knows, right? Our people are clever, right? But, certain brothers get in that thing. You know what I'm saying? I know Natash last year, he had the TV. He had I think he had a bed too in it. Yeah, I think he had a bed. You know what I'm saying?
I had my tent. I had the TV, had the generator, everything. Ice maker.
Yeah. So, hey, you know, hey, our people get in that thing.
God.
Says, you know, all praises.
All praises.
But yeah, come. But the purpose really to really dwell in the tent, because I know certain people in the world may seem that's weird. Like, why you dwell in the tent? You know what I'm saying, for 7 days? That's kind of weird. Well, it's not weird. It's us remembering the days that we had in the wilderness with Moses. Right? So go ahead. Just finish that out real quick.
When I brought them out of the land of Egypt, I am the Lord your God.
Right.
And Moses declared unto the children of Israel the feast of the Lord.
Right. Con. That's it on that. Right. So let's go through these precepts real quick. Right. Let's go to Exodus chapter 23 verse 15. We get to the point. Exodus 23 verse 15. Just want to show y'all another way to say the Feast of Tabernacles, right? Because the Lord does call it 2 different names. So let's get this real quick. You got it.
No. It's the book of Exodus chapter 23 and verse 15.
Right.
Thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Thou shalt eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I commanded thee, in the time appointed of the month of Abib. For in it thou camest out from Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty.
Yeah, so 3 times in a year we actually had to appear before the Lord in Jerusalem, right? And the first high holy day would be the Passover, right? The second will be Pentecost, right? Pentecost. And then the third will actually be the Feast of Tabernacles. But the Lord calls the Feast of Tabernacles a different name. Let's go to verse 16 in this verse, right? Yeah.
Verse 16, and the Feast of Harvest.
Feast of Harvest, right? The Feast of Harvest would essentially be talking about the Feast of First Fruits, a.k.a. the Pentecost, right? Go ahead.
The first fruits of thy labors, which thou hast sown in the field.
Go ahead.
And the Feast of Ingathering.
And the Feast of what?
And the Feast of Ingathering.
So the Feast of Ingathering, a.k.a. the feast that we're in right now, the Feast of Tabernacles, right? Go ahead.
Salakia, if I may right quick.
God, you got it.
The Feast of Ingathering, some people will say this is the New Year, but it's, you know, it's the agricultural New Year.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Where everybody kind of grabbed and, you know, gathered together all their crops, you know, that they, you know, were able to grow throughout the summer.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So this is the agricultural New Year, not the actual New Year.
Yeah, exactly.
That was more the Feast of Trumpets, though, right?
The Feast of
Rosh
Trumpets.
Hashanah. That's the New Year. It's like administrative New Year. So
The Feast
with
of
crops
Trumpets.
and everything, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a fiscal
exactly.
New Year.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And then the actual New Year is Passover.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
Or around Passover. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it.
God, yeah, you keep going on that then.
Salakia,
Yeah.
verse 16, right? Ingathering.
Yeah, the Feast of Ingathering.
What chapter are you guys on?
All right. Exodus chapter 23, and I'll read it from the top again at verse 16. And the Feast of Harvest, the first fruits of thy labors, which thou hast sown in the field, and the Feast of Ingathering, which is in the end of the year, when thou hast gathered in thy labors out of the field.
Come, right? And that's talking about the Feast of Tabernacles, right? So just another way to say the Feast of Tabernacles, you can say, hey, look, you know, the Feast of Ingathering. You know what I'm saying? You might say that to a brother. You might, what's that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Salakia, because it's strange to our people. We don't grow crops over here, so a lot of us have no knowledge of, you know, whatsoever of what our ancestors was really doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But this is, you know, we do got to get into it. You know what I'm saying? So we got to learn about it.
Yeah. Yep. And one way you could tell that we're in that proper season is that you look at the moon tonight and it's a full moon. You know what I'm saying? It's very
Clear
big.
as day.
Clear as day.
Yeah.
It's a harvest
15.
now.
Yeah.
15th
Harvest.
day.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. So, you know, and during that time, because the Lord says you want to keep the feast days in its proper seasons, right? So a brother shouldn't be keeping the Feast of Tabernacles, you know what I'm saying, in the summer, or during the during the winter time. You know what I'm saying? The snow out and everything. Hey, look up into the sky. And, you know what I'm saying? So these are just certain signs that we know that we're in that proper time, that proper season to keep the feast, right? So let's go to real quick.
Salaki, if I could just read this
Yeah, you
next
got
verse.
it. Yeah.
Verse 17. 3 times in the year all thy males shall appear before the Lord God. So if I may, it was important for the men to celebrate these 3 feasts. Passover, first fruits, tabernacles. The men had to show up to Jerusalem. Obviously, we don't have it at our own leisure to where we could just pull up and go to wherever, Jerusalem, go to Tel Aviv and just kind of take over. Man, we don't look, we don't have that type of power right now. But nonetheless, even H.O.I stated in St. John chapter 4 that we was neither going to worship him at that mountain that the so-called Samaritan woman was at, or in Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying? But we was going to be worshiping him throughout the 4 corners of the earth.
Mount Zion. Mount Zion.
Yep.
What precept did you want?
Yeah, give me Deuteronomy 31 and verse 10 real quick. Because there's something we should be doing as well during these 7 days, these 8 days. Is of course it's a feast day. Spend time with your family, spend time with your occupants. You understand? And have a good time. Right? Chill out. You know what I'm saying? But there's also something else that we should also be doing during this week that we also want to focus on. Let's read this precept. 31 and 10. All right.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 31 and verse 10. And Moses commanded them, saying, at the end of every 7 years, in the solemnity of the year of release, in the Feast of Tabernacles.
In the what?
In the Feast of Tabernacles.
Right.
When all Israel is come to appear before the Lord thy God.
Motion detected at master bedroom.
In the place which he shall choose.
Right.
Thou shalt read this law before all Israel in their hearing.
Thou shalt read this law before all Israel in their hearing. So, brothers and sisters, we should be reading the law during this week. Right? We should be trying to read the law during this week, kind of trying to get into Deuteronomy, Exodus, Leviticus. Just going back over to, over the law. The Lord always talks about how the law is going to enlighten your eyes. How the law is the way to salvation. How it's going to give you light in darkness. Right? So, the Lord said that we want to go over the law during this week as well. Right? Let's go to the book of, Nehemiah, chapter 8, verse 8. And this is actually what our forefathers did. Let's go to Nehemiah 8 and verse 8. And then we'll kind of skip down to the point. You got it, Kim.
8?
Yeah, 8.
Yeah, Nehemiah 8 and verse 8.
It's the book of Nehemiah, chapter 8, and verse 8. So they read in the book of the law of God distinctly.
So they what?
So they read in the book and the law of God distinctly.
So the Lord had our people to read in the book of the law distinctly, right? During this time. During the time of the feast. And they what?
And they gave the sense. So like it, and gave the sense. And caused them to understand the reading.
Right, exactly. So you had teachers back then too. You got certain brothers saying that no man can teach me nothing. Camp. That's wickedness. Oh, I follow Christ. I follow the Most High. Right? The Most High is my teacher. And guess what? They had teachers back then. Right? They did have teachers back then, man. Hey, Ezra, Nehemiah, they was teaching the law. Right? Ezra's a priest. You know what I'm saying? So they gave the sense of the law. And so let's skip down real quick to when they kept the Feast of Tabernacles, right? Let's go to verse 13.
Verse 13. And on the second day were gathered together the chief of the fathers of all the people, the priests and the Levites, unto Ezra the scribe, even to understand the words of the law.
Right.
And they found written in the law which the Lord had commanded by Moses that the children of Israel should dwell in booths.
Should dwell in what?
Should dwell in booths.
Right.
In the feast of the 7th month. And that they should publish and proclaim in all their cities.
Right.
And in Jerusalem, saying, go forth unto the mount, and fetch olive branches, and pine branches,
right,
and myrtle branches, and palm branches, and branches of thick trees to make booths, as it is written. So the people went forth and brought them, and made themselves booths, every one upon the roof of his house, and in their courts, and in the courts of the house of God, and in the street of the water gate, and in the street of the gate of Ephraim.
Right, so we see our people literally keeping the Feast of Tabernacles, the Feast of Booths. And even during this time of Ezra and Nehemiah, because we were in captivity, we weren't able to keep these feast days.
Right.
You know, we had just gotten out of the Babylonian captivity, right, when you study the history. And so during this time, that's why we were celebrating, because we were able to come back to Jerusalem, restore it, according to the prophecy given in Daniel chapter 9, verse 24. But we were able to restore Babylon, or it's like we were able to restore Jerusalem, the temple, and even the wall during the time of Nehemiah. And so we were keeping these laws once again. That's why it says we read in the law, we found that place where it's written to keep the Feast of Tabernacles during the 7th month, right? So yeah, let's just finish that out to verse 18.
Verse 17. And all the congregation of them that were come again out of the captivity made booths, and sat under the booths. But since the days of Jeshua the son of Nun, unto that day had not the children of Israel done so. And there was very great gladness. Also day by day, from the first day unto the last day.
Right. Oh, Salaki, that's the point right there in verse 17. Right? It says, Salaki, it says, for since the days of Joshua the son of Nun, unto that day, it had not the children of Israel done so. So we had not kept the Feast of Tabernacles like how we wanted to, all the way from the time of Joshua up until this point. So that's a couple hundred years. You know what I'm saying? That's a couple hundred years. So that's why it was a big deal. That's why it's written here in Nehemiah chapter 8. The scribes had to include this because it was such an important event for us, right? To be able to keep the law. But some brothers see it as a burden, right? Feast of Tabernacles. What the hell is that? Right? You don't have to keep it. Yeah. They will literally say you don't have to keep the feast. We're not in Israel, Ak. You're wicked. How are we wicked for trying to keep the laws? That's madness, right? That's madness.
They say the same thing with Passover.
Yeah,
you can't keep Passover. We're not Israel. The first Passover wasn't in Israel.
Yeah, exactly.
It's in Egypt.
That's crazy, right? That's crazy, man. You just got certain brothers, they just want to hate on, I guess the envy. They may be envious towards brothers. I don't know what it is, right? But, it shouldn't really be a burden to us, right? We may know that, hey, me and Rob Judy was on the phone, you know what I'm saying, trying to find a spot and stuff like that. But these things just come with trying to be righteous. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. The world is not going to bring you the stress of having to keep the law, right? It's not. But this stress is worth it. The Lord said in Romans 8 verse 18, said, I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the things that should be revealed in us, right? Roughly paraphrasing on the scripture. Meaning that the kingdom is much more worth it, right? It's much more worth the little stress that we have to go through to plan things out, right? Or the little money that we may have to spend, right? But come on, let's bring that up. Let's finish that up.
Verse 18. Also day by day, from the first day unto the last day, he read in the book of the law of God, and they kept the feast 7 days. And on the 8th day was a solemn assembly, according unto the manner.
Con, that's right, man. That's right. So let's hit this real quick. Let's go to I wanted to go to Zechariah 14 and 16, just for the scoffers as well, because again, when's the last time you talked to a Christian? They said, when are you guys keeping the Feast of Tabernacles? Right? When have you ever? I never heard a Christian talk about the Feast of Tabernacles.
Nope, I have.
You have? Okay.
Recently.
Okay, yeah, that's
in fact.
Oh.
His preacher came across it and he was asking me about it.
Okay, con, all praises.
But that's
right.
the only time in my life.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. Right. And so we understand that there may be certain Christians out there, very scarce, maybe, very small number, maybe that, and I'm not saying there's no Christians that know about it, but actually trying to keep it, right? Trying to keep it. I haven't seen that. Have you seen that, Ken?
Let's be frank. I mean, they just started hearing about it only because of the Israelites.
Exactly.
Israelites didn't created a whole new range of Christians out here. You know what I'm saying? We made the Christians strong. Let's be real. You know what I'm saying? Y'all wouldn't have been as sharp as y'all are without the Israelites. That lets you know who the people of God is, because we dropping so many jewels with this book because the understanding was only given to us.
Exactly. That's right. Hey, Vocab Malone, he dedicates his whole channel to trying to debunk the Israelites.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then you know about him, he don't get no views if he's not talking about us.
Exactly.
He's selling dead out talking about us.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah, so, but let's bring this out because this is a prophecy, right? Zechariah 14, verses 16 on down. These are prophecies that's yet to come, as somebody say, is looking into the eschaton, right?
He says Zechariah 14?
Yeah, Zechariah 14, verse 16. Right? Let's read that real quick.
It's the book of Zechariah, chapter 14 and verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King of the Lord of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
And to what?
And to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
So how come, if you don't have to keep it right now, we don't have to keep, have to keep the Feast of Tabernacles,
Right.
Passover, nothing like that.
Yeah.
But we see in the kingdom of heaven, they're going to be having to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. What's going on? Yeah, year to year. Not just 1 year.
So this is what they say though. They say they kept the law of God in the Old Testament. But we don't have to keep it in the New.
Right, no.
But in the kingdom of heaven, we'll have to keep it.
Right.
What logic is that?
But
You know what I'm saying?
Logic, it just comes back.
Well, you know what they say? They say we now keep, meaning them.
Yeah.
We now keep the law of Jesus.
Right.
Lord
Woo!
The law of Christ. But they can't find, they say, yeah, I keep the law of Christ. So can you show me one new law that Christ came with? They'll say, oh, you love your neighbor as yourself. That's in Leviticus 19.
No, that's not
Right? Yeah, that's not
He
new at
just
all.
said they're the greatest. He never said they replace anything.
Exactly.
And if you knew what love is, in 1 John 5 and 3, it would mean to keep the commandments with all your heart, mind, and soul.
Exactly.
And to keep the
Keep the
commandments with your brother as you would with yourself. That's
Exactly.
what that means.
That's what that means. Yeah, he only came to reteach the law in a more plainer way, right? In a more plainer way. So that was one of Yahweh Shah's purposes. But as we are reading right here, in the kingdom of heaven, every nation, not just Israel, has to keep the Feast of Tabernacles, right? So let's keep reading on that.
Verse 17. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem,
Right?
to worship the King of Salakia, to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain.
Even upon them shall be no rain. So if your land is not getting any rain,
A drought.
yeah, it's a drought.
Yeah.
Right? Go ahead.
And if the family of Egypt go not up, and come not, that have no rain, there shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. Salakia, real quick. And why the Most High single out Egypt? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because this feast was about when the Most High delivered us out of ancient Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also going into the spiritual Egyptians, the modern day Egyptians today, the Egyptians so-called of America. Because this is Egypt 2.0. This
Right.
is spiritual Egypt. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to have the actual Egyptians trying to refuse to come up and keep the Feast of Tabernacles in the kingdom. And we're going to have the Edomite Egyptians.
Yeah, right.
the spiritual Egyptians to, trying to refuse to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. But the
Right.
Most High is going to bring about judgment on both of them, man.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Salakia.
Yeah, and also another quick point too. They like to say that there's no race to the Lord. Like races don't exist for nations.
race.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we just one, right? And in the kingdom of heaven, everybody's going to be one. There's no distinct race. Some Christians say that,
Right.
but we're seeing here prophecy in the kingdom of heaven. There's still a nation being identified as the nation of Egypt, right? As the Egyptians.
Right.
So I mean, does not include race
Right.
or some type of ethnicity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's just a point on that. You can read verse 19, then we just keep going.
Verse 19. This shall be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
Yep. All praise to the Most High. So, before we get to the New Testament, I do want to get one more precept in the Apocrypha. Right? Let's go to 1 Maccabees chapter 10 and verse number 21. Just to show that, I mean, again, our people knew about the Feast of Tabernacles. Even during the time of the Maccabees, we see it plainly here. And then we'll go to the New Testament and then show on the spiritual level.
10 and 21.
1 Maccabees 10 and 21.
It's the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 10 and verse 21. So in the 7th month of the 160th year, at the Feast of Tabernacles.
At the what?
At the Feast of the Tabernacles.
Right.
Jonathan put on the holy robe.
What do you do?
Jonathan put on the holy robe.
So this is spiritual right here. Jonathan, he put on the holy robe during the Feast of Tabernacles. You see, Rob Judah, you know, you got the robe with the holy robe on.
Yeah.
Right? And so, of course, he did do it on the physical level. But on the spiritual level, this holy robe is what? The commandments. Right? This law, righteousness. The Lord said in the book of Baruch, I believe chapter 5, verses 1 on down, he said to put forth on a double garment of righteousness. Right? Job said, I put on righteousness and it clothed me. You know what I'm saying? So righteousness is likened unto a garment that you want to put on. The new spirit, right? You want to take off that old spirit and put on that new spirit, right? This new spirit is that new man that we're trying to be converted to in this truth, right? So it says he put on the holy robe. Go ahead.
God, he put on the holy robe.
Excuse me, brothers. He want to greet you guys out because he got to go to school tomorrow.
Okay, shalom.
Salakia. Jonathan put on the holy robe,
right,
and gathered together forces and provided much armor.
He provided much armor, man. We're trying to do that for our people, providing them much armor. You understand? So they can fight against Satan. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I was just gonna say, just from that spiritual aspect, Ephesians chapter 6. You know, put ye on the armor of the Lord.
Yeah,
you know
right.
You got the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness. You know what I'm saying? You know, Satan is going to attack us from all angles.
Right.
On a spiritual level, obviously we deal with, you know, the physical attacks of the flesh, but, you know, on the carnal level as well. You know what I'm saying? Everything that Esau has in store for us. Be it, you know, through the biochemical warfare, you know what I'm saying, through the warfare, the programming, through the television. You know what I'm saying? You know, we at war, man. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta get up out of that, you know what I'm saying, that folly spirit and realize that.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And so, so before we close it out, a few precepts on breaking down the Feast of Tabernacles on a more spiritual meaning, spiritual aspect to it, right? Because, of course, as always, give me real quick, Romans 7, verse 12, right? We know that the law is spiritual. So we want to look at it carnally, but we also want to look at it spiritually as well, right? Let's break this down.
Romans what?
7 and 12.
Is that what I want?
Yep.
Okay, good.
That's the book of Romans, chapter 7 and verse 12. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just, and good.
Right.
Was then that which is good made death unto me? God forbid. But sin, that it might appear sin.
You skip down to verse 14.
Dropping down to verse 14. For we know that the law is spiritual.
The law is what?
That the law is spiritual.
So the law is spiritual. Go ahead.
But I am carnal, sold under sin.
So there's always twofold things to the law, right? It's twofold things. We know that the Passover is on a physical level. You get, you know, the lamb, the bitter herbs, the unleavened bread, the wine, but it all is symbolic for something, for Yahweh, right? Feast of Tabernacles, there's a spiritual meaning behind it. So let's get that spiritual meaning. So tabernacle, so what a tabernacle is on a spiritual level is your body, right? Our body. So the Feast of Tabernacles, we want to break this. So give me real quick, let's just prove that. Let's go to 2 Peter 1 and verse number, I think I wanted 14, if I'm not mistaken. 2 Peter chapter, or 1 and verse 13. Right, so let's break this down real quick on the spiritual level.
It's the book of 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse number 13. Yea, I think it meet, as long as I am in this tabernacle.
In this what?
In this tabernacle.
So he said, as long as I am in this tabernacle, he's not talking about his house, right? It says, What tabernacle is this? It's talking about his body. Spiritual, your spiritual house, which is your body, right? Also, you know how some people, even in the world, they say my temple, which is referring to their body, right? Go ahead.
To stir you up by putting you in remembrance, knowing that shortly I must put off this my tabernacle.
Meaning, I have to. He says, knowing that I have to die soon. Yes, I have to put off this tabernacle. But he knows that he has a tabernacle in heaven waiting for him, right? So let's keep reading.
Even as our Lord Yahushua Mashiach hath showed me.
Yeah, come on. Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 1. Right? So the Feast of Tabernacles is really about us renewing our body, right? Renewing our spirit. Putting on that new spirit. You understand? That's really what it's about on a spiritual level. Right? Because again, our tabernacle is your body. It's a spiritual, word for your body. Right? Let's bring this up.
It's the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 1. For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved.
Right? See, this earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved. Meaning this physical body that we're in right now. Go ahead.
We have a building of God. And house not made with hands.
Right.
Eternal in the heavens.
So we have a building of God, a house not made with hands, meaning that tabernacle in heaven is talking about your spiritual body. Everybody has a spiritual body in the third heaven. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
For in this we groan earnestly, desiring to be clothed upon with our house which is from heaven.
Right.
If so be that being clothed we shall not be found naked.
Right. So Paul is like, man, I'm groaning every day to be clothed upon that spiritual body. Because when you have that spiritual body on, you're not going to sin. You're not subject to sin. Right? Imagine not sinning ever. You're perfect. The only way to get that is to be in that spiritual body.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why Paul was like, man, I hate sin so much. I just want to be clothed upon with that spiritual body.
Man,
right? That's why Yahushua said in John 14 verse 1, let's get that real quick. John 14 verse 1. So again, if our houses are if our tabernacles are our body, this is a Feast of Tabernacles, right? We were in the wilderness. We're in the wilderness right now on the spiritual level.
Well,
What is this wilderness? Babylon, California, right? America. We're in the spiritual wilderness right now. Trying to make it out. Trying to endure the elements. The Lord said when he was tempted in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights, it said that the beasts were amongst him. The wild beasts were there too. Right? Where are these wild beasts? These demons on every corner. You go to your job, it's a demon there. Right? You know what I'm saying? Hey, you go to your room, it's a demon waiting for you right there. Got to kind of cast him out. How'd you get in here, man? Right? Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's just, so we're with the wild beasts right now.
Yeah.
Just like how back in the ancient world, in the wilderness, because again, in the wilderness, you would have strange creatures there, probably strange, what do you call it, like hearings at night, sounds at night.
Yeah.
It's the wilderness. It's the wilderness. Probably had to fight some wild beasts from time to time. So again, it's not easy living in the wilderness, right? Again, even in the book of Psalms, David talks about that, right? You had a point?
Yeah, so it was a viral video just earlier this week of Jake and Eve. They were out vacationing at a cabin, and they seen a bear, a little bear, at the bottom of the cabin, where the stairs were. They were all playing with the bear, Hey, cutie, how you doing? And the bear, he was trying to see, where that voice was coming from until he looked up. And he seen, they up there. So he went up the stairs. The bear went up the stairs, and then Jake and, Eve thinking like, it's a gate. He ain't gonna, ain't nothing gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So, the bear take his time. He eventually, he gets to the top, put his paws on the wood, on the gate. And then Jake and Eve still like, he's so cute and everything. But as soon as he jumped, Jake and Eve ran in that cabin, and everybody screaming, man. So not everybody prepared for for that type of lifestyle. Our people is so far gone from living that lifestyle
So
of
was it
being
a baby bear or was it a full grown bear?
He was a baby bear. He was a baby bear, but he was big still. He was still a little
Yeah,
big.
them babies.
I'll show y'all the video though. But
Okay, yeah,
it's
show me
pretty
that
funny
video.
though. Jake and Eve, man.
They got a hard way. Esau was still like, oh, come on.
Yeah, con, exactly. Right. I'm gonna just read this precept real quick in the wilderness. Psalm 63 verse 1. Right. Psalm chapter 63 verse 1. It says, "O God, thou art my God. Early will I seek thee. My soul thirsteth for thee. My flesh longeth for thee in a dry and thirsty land where no water is." So this is that wilderness, right? We're in a dry and thirsty land where no water is, right? What's the water? This word, this truth.
You said 61 and what?
63 verse 1.
Oh, 63.
Yeah, there's no water here. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be abundance of water, but there's not. It's not just because Cali's in a drought, right? But it's really because on the spiritual level, right? There's no truth here. The truth is barren in this land. Hardly do I see. I go to the cashier. It's a brother with fringes on, and he's saying, "Shalom, King." You know what I'm saying? Hey, where do y'all teach at? Right? I'm trying to come see y'all. Hey, when do brothers? If brothers see that, hey, all praises. But I don't really see that too much. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the abundance of Israelites everywhere. Like how there's abundance of Christians or abundance of atheists or the abundance of spiritualites. You know what I'm saying? Or the abundance of, you know what I'm saying?
Muslims.
Yeah, Muslims. Right? We're supposed to be that deep, but we're not. The truth is not that deep. Right? Or I should say the people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're not that deep like that. So this is a dry and thirsty land where no water is. We're constantly fighting against the odds. We were just talking about Esau's schooling system. How many of our kids are in schooling like that? You know what I'm saying? They're not teaching the water or the knowledge of the Most High, right? The knowledge of the Most High is not being taught. It's literally being taught against, right? In the media, Instagram, TikTok, just a whole bunch of folly and madness all the time, right? So let's go to real quick. So that's that spiritual aspect. But let's go to what precept? Okay, Con. Yeah, let's go to John 14 verse 1.
It's the book of St. John, chapter 14 and verse 1.
Con.
Let not your heart be troubled.
Right.
Ye believe in God, believe also in me.
Right.
In my Father's house are many mansions.
Are many what?
Are many mansions.
Yeah. So this is not all right. So I know a brother said that this is talking about planets, right? But we break it down as to say the mansions are talking about, because a mansion is a big house. So we're reading here, a house is a tabernacle is a house. So in my Father's house there are many mansions. We know the Father is dwelling in the third heaven. So in the heavens there are houses made for us. So these spiritual houses are talking about what? The spiritual tabernacles, right? Our spiritual bodies, right? It says what?
And he's saying this because these spiritual houses are unblemished.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They're pure.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? No sin, or if you talking about a clean level, right? No dust found in these tabernacles.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't got no roaches in these tabernacles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't no
Rats.
moths. It ain't no rats, no mice.
Yeah.
None of that stuff is going. No droplings of nothing. You know what I'm saying? These tabernacles are clean.
Man.
No, yeah, right.
St. John chapter 14 and verse 2. Again, in my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also.
Man. And he talking about the kingdom of heaven. Right? Talking about the kingdom of heaven. But essentially, we want to be clothed upon with that spiritual house. Right? 1 Corinthians 15 even talks about it too.
Yeah.
It says, when we shall meet the Lord in the air, right? In the twinkling of the eye, right? When the trumpet shall sound, and it says, death shall be swallowed up in victory. Meaning that we're going to be clothed upon with our spiritual house. No more death for us. No more death for the elect. You understand? And that even goes into Revelation chapter 21.
Yeah.
Right?
If I could
You
get
got
two precepts.
Yeah, come, I got you.
Job 22 and verse 22.
Come.
We just gonna read on down. So yeah, I mean, the brother's right on point. You know, we want to make sure that we have a clean tabernacle. But if you can, Job 22 and verse 22.
This is the book of Job, chapter 22 and verse number 22. It says, "Receive, I pray thee, the law from his mouth."
What did he say?
Receive, I pray thee, the law from his mouth.
Right. So you know, the teachers, when we out there laboring, when we out there, pushing the word, trying to seal the elect, we try to get our people to receive the law at our mouths. You know what I'm saying? Because we're literally an extension of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? We're vessels being used to, bring back the Most High's people. You know what I'm saying? It's not because we want to do it. You know what I'm saying, brothers? Sure, we all feel like, your flesh wants you to do something else. You know what I'm saying? You have your own desires that want you to just sit there and watch the game, college football on Saturday. You know what I'm saying? You got a bet placed in. You want to make sure you won your money. You know what I'm saying? Your mind is, on a carnal level is somewhere else. But the Most High has put us in these positions to be able to bring forth his children, back unto him. So he says, to receive the law at his mouth. Go ahead.
Come. And lay up his words in thine heart.
And do what?
And lay up his words in thine heart.
Right. The heart is referring to your mind. That saith Mark chapter 7 and verse 21. From out of the hearts of men proceed evil thoughts. So from your heart, comes your thoughts. Right. So he said, receive it in your heart. Go ahead.
Con, if thou return to the Almighty, thou shalt be built up.
He said what?
If thou return to the Almighty, thou shalt be built up.
Right, so if our people, hard-headed, stiff-necked, rebellious, Jake and Eve, if y'all return to the Lord, you will be built up. You know what I'm saying? We, a lot of people, they get upset about how we teach the word. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you shouldn't teach it that way. Oh, you guys are too strong. You come too hard. You know what I'm saying? But, the Most High told us to teach a specific way. You know what I'm saying? It's not so much about us cutting you down, because we'll heal you up right afterwards.
Yeah.
After we get done, slicing and dicing, hey, we're going to patch you up. Get you some Band-Aids, get you some, rubbing alcohol.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, it's not about just, cut. We want to heal our people. But in order to heal you, hey, you gotta realize that you're bleeding all over the place first, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I like to say, personally, in my prayers, that the Most High would build me and not kill me, mold me and not fold me. You know what I'm saying? So, we need that building. You know what I'm saying? So, go ahead.
The scripture says, spare not anyway. Look at the verse like a trumpet, spare not. Can't spare your feelings.
So he said, if thou return unto the Almighty, thou shalt be built up. Go ahead.
Con, thou shalt put away iniquity far from thy tabernacle.
Thou shalt do what?
Thou shalt put iniquity far from thy tabernacle.
Right, he said, thou shalt put iniquity far from thy tabernacles. That's talking about your spiritual house, your body, your temple, man. Like it says in the 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 16, I believe, if any man defile the temple, him shall God destroy. You know what I'm saying? So it's important how you treat your body. I know the elder here, he talks often about, his diet. You know what I'm saying? And how we should diet. You know what I'm saying? But that's important, though. We need to make sure that we're dieting and treating our bodies the proper way. You know what I'm saying? We know, we're going to give up this flesh eventually, and we're going to get those spiritual, bodies soon. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to sustain ourselves, to put ourselves in a better position for our nation. You know what I'm saying? So, but keep going on that.
Verse 24, then shalt thou lay up gold as dust.
You don't do what?
Then shalt thou lay up gold as dust.
No, I'd rather have a whole bunch of chains around my neck.
Then shalt thou lay up gold as dust.
No, gold all of my rings. Gold all of my chains. Gold all of my watch. What it say?
Then shalt thou lay up gold as dust.
Hey, look, when you truly, forget about this world and forget about your flesh, you're gonna look at gold as dust, man. As it's nothing, man.
Nothing.
Like it's the sand at the beach. You know what I'm saying? That's how you gonna view gold, right? And what else?
And the gold of Euphor as the stones of the brooks.
Go ahead.
Yea, the Almighty shall be thy defense, and thou shalt have plenty of silver.
Go ahead.
For then shalt thou have thy delight in the Almighty, and shalt lift up thy face unto God.
One more verse.
Thou shalt make thy prayer unto him, and he shall hear thee, and thou shalt pay thy vows.
Right, so but you got to return unto the Most High if you want these things. He'll hear your prayer, You know what I'm saying? And the Most High will come through for you. You know what I'm saying? If it's all within range, it's not coming from a place of vanity. But let me get one more in Job, Job 11 and 14 real fast.
This is the book of Job, chapter 11, verse 14. It says, if iniquity be in thine hand,
If what?
If iniquity be in thine hand, put it far away, and let not wickedness dwell in thy tabernacle.
Right, so he said, if iniquity be in thine hand. And that's talking about the physical works of the flesh. You know what I'm saying? If iniquity be in thine hand. You're not going to walk around just carrying sin. You know what I'm saying? It's just talking about what you're doing on a physical level. You know what I'm saying? Or on a mental level. You know what I'm saying? On a spiritual level, what you worshiping, if you worship anything outside of the Most High, you know what I'm saying? You want to put iniquity far off from your hands. You know what I'm saying? And it said, that last part, one more time.
And let not wickedness dwell in thy tabernacles.
And let not wickedness dwell within your tabernacles. So you want to have pure thoughts that'll give you a pure conscience. You know what I'm saying? You want to have, make sure that your words is matching your actions. Your actions is matching your words. You know what I'm saying? And the Most High, he will build you up. You know what I'm saying? Guaranteed. We ain't selling you no love tickets, right? But you got to keep.
Yeah, that actually reminds me of when Yahweh went into the temple. And so when he went into the temple, he made a small cords, whip, essentially. And so he started whipping the people that were selling and buying in the temple, right? And he said, look, the Lord said he has made my house, or his house, a house for all people, but you're you know what I'm saying?
Den of thieves.
Yeah. You're making it a den of thieves. Exactly. Right? And so what was Yahweh doing on the physical level? He's trying to get out all the sin out of the temple, out of the tabernacle. Right?
Even with the animals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Took the animals out, overthrew the tables, poured out the exchange's money, right? And so that kind of just, reminds me of Yahweh doing that. And so we also know what Yahweh did, the things that he did is also on the spiritual level. He's trying to get out all the sin out of that tabernacle, right? But Khan, all praises. So, yeah, that's not, again, it's not too much. You got anything else on that?
Revelation 21 and 3.
Oh yeah, Khan, that's right. Yeah.
Did you want to go back and finish? I don't know if you finished that one in 2 Corinthians. Did you want more on that?
No, that's fine. Yeah, Khan. Yeah, we can just go to Revelation 21.
Yeah.
Khan, Revelation chapter 21 and verse number, you said verse 3?
Yeah.
Khan, it says, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with...
It said the what?
Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men.
Nah, it's with girls.
The tabernacle of God is with men.
Nah, it's with trannies.
The tabernacle of God is with men.
But I read the Queen James version, and it said that it's with the sodomites, brother.
The tabernacle of God.
Cisgendered, cis-born men. Right? The tabernacle of God is with men.
Right, so, again, going back to the law where it states, and men shall appear before the Lord 3 times a year, all males, ranging from, adults to, to the little male children. You know what I'm saying? It says the tabernacle of God is with men. Was there more to that?
Come. It says, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God.
Right, so it's important that we, as men, get ourselves together, right? Let me get 2 Ezra 14 and 13 real fast. It's important that we, as the leaders of the household, of our respective households, as a unit, as a family unit, as individuals, it's important that we get ourselves together, man. You know what I'm saying? Because if the men get themselves together, everybody else gonna fall in line. That city girl spirit is gonna die out. You know what I'm saying? Because, truth be told, the men, we are the prize, man. We are the prize. You know what I'm saying? The Most High said he's gonna make a man more precious than fine gold.
Hell, America tells us that women is.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, but this is why the Most High is gonna, turn everything back in this, proper order. You know what I'm saying? Like it said in Isaiah 29 and 16, they have turned the world upside down. You know what I'm saying? The Most High is gonna restore all of that, man. and this is not to denigrate our women or, you know, or bash our women or to, you know, as they like to call us misogynists. You know what I'm saying? We're not that. We are, you know, catapulting the Most High's order. Of the Most High, His Son Yahweh, man, women, the children. You know what I'm saying? So, and if we disobey or go against that order, you know what I'm saying? We going against the Most High. We have somebody that we have to look up to that, you know, we owe a debt to. It's a lot. So our sisters, you know, you owe a debt to your husband. You know, us as men, we owe a debt to Yahweh. Yahweh owes his debt to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? So we have to play our roles, and we have to get ourselves right together as men. Because the Most High said He dwells with men. You know what I'm saying? He can't dwell with, you know what I'm saying, Jay-Z. He's not dwelling with that. You know what I'm saying? He's not, you know, he's not dwelling with, you know what I'm saying, RuPaul. Imagine that, man. The Lord dealing with RuPaul. You know what I'm saying? The Lord's not dealing with those type of men, man. Yeah. So
what you think about this new movie that Jay-Z's producing, the Book of
Clarence.
Yeah, what you think about that?
I mean, yeah, it's a whole lot of folly coming with
yeah,
that,
mockery.
It's a lot of it's definite mockery because of the, you know, they see the Israelite camps being built right now.
Yeah, that's
you know what I'm
what
saying.
they
So they, and, you know, they got the, I'm sure they have the white Jesus in there. They just said, oh, black people seen that and they wanted to create their own God, and that's why you have some people that teach that Christ is black.
Yeah.
They just actually came out with the AI generated Jesus Christ the other day. So they showed what Jesus Christ looked like, you know, from AI's perspective. And of course,
look like Jack Sparrow.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Jack Sparrow.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, and they come with all type of madness and folly, man. But yeah, that Book of Clarence is gonna be. I'm gonna check it out.
Hey, I'm gonna check it out too. We probably gonna do a movie review. Me and Sabak do a movie review on that.
But that, yeah, they gonna ish on the case.
And you know the Jewish people was upset about that movie just because they said, well, the people in Israel wasn't black. You know, they already protested the movie. Yeah.
That's the only thing that I will say that I do like about that is they had our people within the land right there at that time. So they might have, they're gonna have some truths in it, but I'm quite sure mostly lies though. So.
Yeah,
well, if what's his name, Carter? What's Jay-Z's name?
Sean Carter.
Sean Carter. If he's the one who put it out, and I mean it was his money
or something,
so he has final say in terms of script, in terms of how it's presented, shot, and so forth, edited. And if he's the one put it out and he's not following the law, then one has to take another glance at that in terms of what is it really trying to tell you? Because he has ulterior motives too. I mean, because he's a billionaire, and I'm not knocking that, but I'm just saying that for him to get there and stay in a certain limelight amongst the masses who are paying him, you know, he may be following an agenda himself. We know he's not following the agenda in the scripture, because if he was, him and his wife, she wouldn't have blonde straight hair. She wouldn't be showing off everything she got. He wouldn't be singing about offing his brothers and selling, you know, whatever he was selling to get a bag and all that. That's how he made his money. Am I wrong? So
Greater is greater.
Right. So therefore, you know, we can't trust what he's coming up with or what he's signing off on, whether he created it or not, because he's not showing us any righteous. And we're just saying that because we're trying to be righteous according to Scripture. He's not. That's all I'm saying.
He's definitely a warlock.
No, yeah.
Jay-Z he's being pushed by the upper elites.
No question. That's why he called himself Hova. You know what I'm saying? That was short for Jehovah. Jehovah. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we got that song Lucifer, and hey, look, I liked it in the word.
See, now, if this is the same guy that's bringing you to, come on now, that, you know, Stevie Wonder can see that.
I think he started those bars in that song Lucifer. He said, Lord forgive him, he got them dark forces in him. You know what I'm saying? So, he you know, he let you know, but,
you know what else is crazy though? We're gonna have to watch out for that Project Bluebeam. They're gonna try to have, now they're gonna have all this AI stuff. And they're gonna try to have God coming out being a white, and everybody be like,
that'll come.
Hologram,
put it in the sky and all that. People will believe it.
People gonna believe like, oh, that is Jesus and all that, because they're gonna have that Project Bluebeam where they have the little images that looks real though.
Yeah, they
see the ones they're doing in China right now?
They got much sharper with the AI technology.
Man, you see the one in China? when they got like the whale that come out the water and all, it look like a real whale.
Right.
Man, it ain't no joke right now.
No, they'll do all that.
Yeah, they
Oh, let me say one other thing. I was watching something, can't remember what it was, and it was somebody's camp or something. They had an excerpt of one of these cartoons. What is it called? I don't watch these cartoons. I haven't watched cartoons since I was a kid. But The Simpsons, maybe?
Okay.
I think that's the one with the fat guy on it. I think that's the one. And he was saying, oh, if it wasn't that, then it was
Family Guy.
or it was what's the other one with all the little kids?
South Park.
South Park. Maybe it was that one. But he was saying, oh yeah, some guy was an Israelite, and he was sitting next to him.
That was South Park.
Right, and then he said, oh, you guys, you didn't have anything after World War II. After World War II, tell about the Holocaust or something, which is nowhere in the scripture.
Right.
And he said, after World War II, you guys didn't have anything to talk about or to be a victim for, so you just wanted to attach to and rule the world with us. Something to that effect. On a cartoon, he's saying this.
Yeah.
Thought that was pretty wild.
Not yet. So I think the specific one in South Park was Cartman trying to tell Token, that was the black
And
kid.
see, I don't, you know the characters and all that.
Cartman was telling Token. Token is the black,
Wait,
only black
Cartman
kid.
the fat one?
Cartman is the fat one.
Okay, that's the one who was talking to the brother.
And he was telling them, how he was a Jew and he was an Israelite. And, Token didn't want to listen to him. So it's kind of typical of our people.
He said in the dream.
Yeah, exactly. Dream. What's it like? Get that.
Second Ezra chapter 14 and verse 13. It says, now therefore set thine house in order.
He said what?
Now therefore set thine house in order.
Nah, continue with the Willie Lynch theory.
Now therefore set thine house in order.
Nah, let's keep the gender war between black women and black men going.
Now therefore set thine house in order, and reprove thy people.
And do what?
And reprove thy people.
Nah, mingle with the people.
And reprove thy people.
Nah, encourage the thought girl behavior.
And reprove thy people.
Right, so the Most High said you gotta reprove them, man.
It was second Edric said what?
14, 13.
14, 13.
Yeah, he said, set your house in order and reprove thy people. Like it's saying in Sirach chapter 20 and verse 1. It's not a comely thing to be reproved all the time. It's not fun always, to hear the things that you're doing wrong or the things that you're doing that are displeasing the Lord. You know what I'm saying? But we all had to, take a hit on the chin at one point in time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Swallow our pride. You know what I'm saying? Admit where, we were going off at. Acknowledge those things. And in hopes that the Most High would remove it from us. You know what I'm saying? Our sins. But keep going on that.
Come. It says, comfort such of them as be in trouble.
He said, do what?
Comfort such of them as be in trouble.
Right. And some of our people are in trouble right now. Some of our people are, dealing with struggles, dealing with things that are, contrary to the Most High's laws. You know what I'm saying? But, the Most High tells us to comfort our people. So we have to show the balance of, of love as we show the balance of, the other side, the flip side of correction. You know what I'm saying? So he says, keep going on that.
God, and now renounce corruption.
And do what?
And now renounce corruption.
What is America?
And now renounce corruption.
What is Babylon the Great?
And now renounce corruption.
Keep going, I think, all the way through 17.
Let go from thee mortal thoughts.
He said what?
Let go from thee mortal thoughts.
No, brother, I don't know how I'm going to pay the rent this month, man.
And let go of thee, Slakia, let go from thee mortal thoughts.
Will I ever get a rib, brother?
Let go from thee mortal thoughts.
He said what?
Let go from thee mortal thoughts.
And the Lord said, let go from thee mortal thoughts, man. All of these mortal thoughts is the things of this world, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You focused on the big game. You know what I'm saying? Who gonna make it to the Super Bowl? Hey, Damian Lillard just got traded to the Bucks, man. Hey, Damian Lillard, man, from the town, from Oakland. He just got traded to the Bucks. So that means Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo is gonna win the NBA championship this year, man. That's mortal thoughts, man. You know what I'm saying? Keep going on that.
Cast away the burdens of man.
He said, do what?
Cast away the burdens of man.
Nah, I embrace my demons, huh?
Cast away the burdens of man.
Nah, I'm on demon time, huh?
Cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature.
You do what?
Put off now the weak nature.
Man, It's a huge, it's a weak nature amongst our people right now, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they buck
Super
broken.
weak. Yeah.
You see these niggas protesting and they start twerking in front of the police.
Yep, yep.
That's
Yeah,
God
On a
said.
police car too.
Yeah, and on the police car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Men, women.
I know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
men,
men doing it too.
Yeah.
Buck broken. You know what I'm saying? You got a protest and you just start twerking. You know what I'm saying? I mean, where y'all lose? You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, the other day in Philadelphia, I mean, they rioting like crazy in Philly.
Crazy.
oh,
They
snatching
looted
up
so many stores over there.
Right.
When did this happen? I
And
didn't
that
hear
was
about
2
because
this.
days
of
ago, yesterday.
the dismissal of a man that was
young
murdered in
blacks too,
Philadelphia.
like young teenage
Oh,
blacks.
really? I didn't look at the news.
Everywhere, man. They was
Somebody got killed or something?
Yeah, that was because they dismissed the charges upon the officer that killed somebody over there.
Oh,
Again.
Yeah,
The police was out
Yeah,
there
they-
slamming kids and everything.
yeah. They caught a few, but I mean, it was too
I
many
don't
to
got,
catch.
yeah, it was so many they didn't get away, but they got a few of them slamming them,
Yeah, they did.
socking on them.
At
and
that
stuff.
point, with all that chaos, them Jake should have just started firing on the police for real.
Well, see, but the thing is, they rather go in Apple store and try and grab products.
Yeah.
You can't use that stuff
No, you
because
can't.
they got tracking.
They
That's
do.
that shows ignorance.
No, they
That
showed in
shows
the videos that
horrific incompetence.
those phones were going off. You know what I'm saying? You can't use it. They were
Yeah.
display
The
phones.
computers,
Yeah.
the iPad, you can't use any of that.
Yeah,
It's
they all
high
got serial
technology.
numbers, everything. You
Right.
can't
You can't-
activate it.
that's
It's just
Nothing.
useless, like a
Yeah,
brick.
Right.
That's horrific.
But that wasn't the only store. They went so many.
No, they
places.
clothing stores. They were everywhere.
Yeah,
They were everywhere.
It's like, keep going on that.
Con, it says,
So like, yeah, what verse are you? I'm sorry, I didn't keep up.
2nd Ezra 14.
Oh, you still second address?
Yeah, 14, 15. God, it says, and set aside the thoughts that are, oh, Slakia. Yeah. And set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times.
And do what?
And haste thee to flee from these times.
Right. So you want to haste yourself to flee from these times, spiritually, man. Because there's nowhere you can go, like you say in Jeremiah, the sword, it'll follow you anywhere. You know what I'm saying? If you want to flee Babylon, you know what I'm saying? If you want to go move to Africa, brother's talking about moving to Ghana. You know what I'm saying? Brother's talking about moving to Tanzania. You know what I'm saying? It's flourishing over there in Tanzania. You know what I'm saying? So many of our people moving over there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, he's talking spiritually, man. Hasty to flee from these times, man. You know what I'm saying? Of what's to come, man. We have so much more prophecies that's going to unfold, and things are happening rapidly. You know what I'm saying? So, but keep going on that.
For yet greater evils than these, Slakia, than those which thou hast seen happen, shall be done hereafter.
No, I mean, 2020 was the worst year of all time, brother. It can't get no worse than that.
For yet greater evils
No,
than
2021 was the worst, man.
these. For yet greater evils than these,
Uh-huh.
which thou hast seen happen, shall be done hereafter.
Right, he said greater evils, man. I mean, we're not going to even be able to imagine some of the stuff that they got coming towards our way. This AI, I mean, it's going to take over. You know what I'm saying? And they're not putting it in movies for nothing, man. These, human form, they look like in the human form, but they're actual robots, and they just start going off killing people.
Yeah, they got this new movie coming out called The Creator.
Yeah.
Oh,
With
okay.
the little AI
Yeah,
robot.
I did see
And
that.
Denzel Washington's son is playing the main character. You know, the guy
Yeah.
from the movies. I forgot
He
his name.
trying like he's the
He basically is an AI that's controlling a nuclear weapon. And that showed in the beginning. I might do a movie review on that as well. Yeah, that's why I was gonna kick off with AI.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a lot, man. All these wild beasts is gonna be in the streets. Hey, it's gonna be hectic, man. It's gonna be a time.
Well,
Is that it?
they already using robotic weaponry
Right.
in war,
Yeah.
so that there's no casualty on the other side, and they're inflicting maximum killing of civilian and military population.
Yeah, kind of.
Absolutely.
They already got robot dogs to detonate bombs and stuff like that. They use it on the first robot detonated dog. They use it on the Jake in Texas.
Texas, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Texas.
Yep.
Did you have any other precepts, Ken?
Yeah, no, that's really it on that. Probably just let me get this one second Corinthians, just real quick. 2 Corinthians chapter
Finish that
6.
17 too.
You said
Oh, you said verse 17.
Finish it.
Okay.
Yeah, come. We can read that.
There we go. Where we going?
Second Ezra 14.
Second address still.
Verse number 17. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein.
Right.
Ah.
Yeah, in the world, I mean, it's just everything's waxing weaker and weaker. I mean,
Yeah.
we dying off earlier.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, with how much radiation they got going on, you know, I saw so many cancer scares. I've known somebody personally that had a cancer scare recently.
Yeah,
You know
my
what I'm
twin
saying?
sister died of cancer in 2020.
2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people dying young too.
Yeah,
So it's like,
Young
you know, the
man.
most
And then
high.
say the what's the name too say for look how much the world shall be weaker. You go to like football now with kids, everybody gets a trophy, everybody got to play.
Oh yeah.
Now the mom's coming like my son got, even though he didn't practice none to try to get better. Oh, put him in the game. You know what I mean? It's like, man, you watch the game now, like, man, these kids, you barely even NFL, like all the stuff you touch them. Oh, it's a penalty.
Yeah.
You're like, man, we're not even strong no more. All our strengths, everything is they making us weaker every day.
Yeah.
It's like, man, it's terrible, man.
Oh, yeah.
You used to
doing
have
a
to
roll-
practice
roll
all
reverse.
day, you know what I mean? You want to be the man in the game, you practice hard, get your body fit. Now they like, oh, you be fatty donuts all day. Put my son in there. Oh, yeah, well, everybody got to play now.
Yeah.
You know
I
what I
mean, you
mean?
don't even see the
Anticipation
kids.
more,
the
the trophies
kids,
and stuff.
They don't even play in the streets. I don't know the last time I seen kids playing football in the
Nah.
streets.
Oh
don't see
no,
that.
that's
You know what I'm
gone.
saying?
No,
I don't
I
see
don't.
that at all. You know what I'm
These
saying?
kids on these things now and tablets and
Right.
stuff like that. Hey, ain't no more kids in the street no more.
That's why I say this book is like I say, it tells, man, everything goes on in this world, they tell it.
Yeah, yeah, just a quick one. Just in terms, yeah, what you were saying before,
Bring it up.
2 Corinthians chapter 6, and verse number 16.
It's the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 16.
Uh-huh.
And what agreement hath the temple of God with idols?
Right?
For ye are the temple of the living God. As God hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be their God, and they shall be my people.
Not everybody's people.
And they shall be my people.
And they shall be my people, man. Right?
Uh-huh.
So it's showing you that, just going off what the brother was saying before, that we are the temple of the living God, right? And so that's also another thing why this is a precept to 1 Corinthians 3 and 16, right? Because it says that we know that the Spirit of God dwells within us. And the Spirit of the Most High on the actual level, I mean, he's dwelling in the heavens, in the third heaven. And he has a temple up there that he's dwelling in, that he describes, that he says in Revelation 15, I'm dwelling in the temple. So if we are the temple of God, that means that the Most High Spirit is also in us, right? So that's what Paul is saying, right? He's quoting that precept in Leviticus, right? But essentially, this is the Feast of Tabernacles. We want to walk in the Spirit of the Most High, as the brother also said as well. Put away iniquity far from our tabernacles, right? Through the Spirit during this feast day. That's why also the Lord said to read the law, go over the law. The law is going to teach you what's wrong, right and wrong. You know what I'm saying? The law is going to teach you all that. So all praise to the Most High. That's really all I had on that.
Just one more. 1 Corinthians 15 and 57. We'll close it out with this one.
That kind of. 1 Corinthians what?
15 and 57.
57.
This is 1 Corinthians 15 and verse 57. But thanks be to God.
So, but thanks be to who?
But thanks be to God.
Thanks be to Yahweh.
But thanks be to God.
Thanks be to Ahiah.
But thanks be to Yahweh.
Oh, okay. That's right. Thanks be to who?
But thanks be to
Go
Yahweh,
ahead.
which giveth us the victory.
No, we're going to lose.
Which giveth us the victory.
No, we're going out third round.
Which giveth us the victory.
No, Esau going to knock us out like, what's that Edomite dude's name that licked the blood? What's his name?
Who?
Licked the blood off the brother, off his neck.
Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury. We're going to go out like that, man. We're gonna be set back another 400 years. What happened?
Which giveth us the victory through our Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. Through our Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach.
You're reading it wrong. That's Caesar Boat, brother.
Through our Lord. You said what?
He said you're reading it wrong. That's Caesar Boat.
Through our Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach.
So we're gonna get the victory through our Lord Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. So hey man, like the brother said, man, dwell in your booths, Israel. You know what I'm saying? Get the real experience, man. You know what I'm saying? If you can, go out to the woods. Lord willing, we'll be able to. You know what I'm saying? And get the real, be out there in the elements, man. You know what I'm saying? If you're in a place where it's gonna be hot in the daytime, it's gonna be really cold at nighttime. You know what I'm saying? Beware of them bears. You know what I'm saying? Mountain lions, whatever the case. You know what I'm saying? So, but hey, all praise to the Most High God. Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai. We gonna say Shalom to the 12. Kwam Yashua.
Come
Yashua.
All praises.
Y'all back to the sword, man.
Yeah.
I don't use it at first.